The FDA has approved a brand new vaccine. It's kind of funny because it comes on the heels of pretty famous tennis player, Djokovic, who would not get the vaccine. Remember, it was a whole ordeal and he couldn't even play in the U.S. Open last year because he wouldn't get the vaccine. Well, this was the first year that you could play in the U.S. Open if you hadn't had the vaccine. And sure enough, he did. And the winning shot, ladies and gentlemen, I can't show it to you because they have all these rules around sports video. But the winning shot was none other than the Moderna shot because Moderna sponsored that particular shot. So of course, like that kind of was a sweet victory for those on social media that don't like Moderna or Big Pharma or vaccines. So here's the New York Post writing on it. And they did say that this was not lost, a moment that was not lost on social media users who watched the U.S. Open. This was Djokovic's first U.S. Open tournament appearance since the U.S. lifted the coronavirus vaccine regulations. Djokovic could not play in last year's tournament, of course, because he had not received the vaccine. So, wow. So very much a sweet victory there for him. But again, I want to point out there that they are coming forward with another vaccine. And a lot of people may be worried, may not be worried. I don't know. I think it's kind of a personal decision. Although we learned last time around, it wasn't so personal, right? Because your employer was requiring it and countries were requiring it. Trying to see if we have some sound here. We do. One of my former colleagues, actually over on Fox News, I was at Fox Business, but this is Megyn Kelly of Fox News, who now has her own program. She was talking about how she got the vaccine. And it really concerns her because she apparently got an autoimmune reaction to it. And, you know, we don't know. We don't know, right? Like I would just say, like, we don't know a whole lot about these things. We hope that vaccines would keep people safe. But I want to share with you what her reaction was and what her doctor said. Here she is on her program.
I regret getting the vaccine, even though I'm a 52-year-old woman, because I don't think I needed it. I think I would have been fine. I'd got COVID many times, and it was well past when the vaccine was doing what it was supposed to be doing. And then for the first time, I tested positive for an autoimmune issue at my annual physical. And I went to the best rheumatologist in New York, and I asked her, do you think this could have to do with the fact that I got the damn booster and then got COVID within 3 weeks? And she said, yes, I wasn't the only one she'd seen that with.
Okay, so that's alarming stuff, right? I mean, I think that we need to be able to have honest conversations about all of this. And one of our frustrations that I think that we all share together is that there is no honesty. I told you my story about getting the vaccine. I was traveling somewhere and I got the vaccine and I had a horrible reaction. And I kind of panicked and I'm online, like we're doing all my research, right? And I actually go to a company that I used to work at, marketwatch.com. I go to marketwatch.com and they've got an article at the top of the page that is about a study about a Pfizer vaccine, because I'd gotten a Pfizer vaccine, that suggested there were some real complications you could have that could lead to stroke, et cetera. And it was a scientific study done by a university overseas. It was either Cambridge or Oxford, one of the two. I don't remember. And I knew the reporter that had done the story, again, because I used to work there. So I was like, oh, wow. So immediately I call my doctor and I run down to my husband's office because, we're all working at home back then. And I'm like panicked. I'm like, oh my gosh, because I'm feeling this, and this, and look at this study. And I went to show it to him and it was gone. I couldn't find it. It was no longer at the top of marketwatch.com. And I'm looking. And finally, I went and did a really detailed search because I knew the spelling of the reporter's name because he's a friend. I know him. I knew specifically whether it was Cambridge or Oxford. I don't remember now, but I knew exactly who had done the study. I knew the right search terms and eventually I found it. But you weren't easily finding this thing. And it had been wiped clean at the top of that website, which actually is owned by the Wall Street Journal and Rupert Murdoch now. And I was like, okay, well, that's alarming because I'm a smart enough person that I ought to be able to at least be able to read the study myself Why would they want to hide it from me? And I called my doctor, and my doctor's like, okay, that's like 0.1%. I'm like, I know, but like, what if it's me, right? What if it's you? And these are questions that we ought to be able to at least ask. And I'm not saying, this whole idea of misinformation, disinformation, this, that, and the other. I think that we've got to get to a better place sooner rather than later, because people do have real concerns, and they ought to be able to weigh their chances and weigh their odds and understand those odds. And so if it's a 0.00001% chance that you're going to have something, a reaction, etc., okay, but like, just know the 0.0001. Like, don't try and hide it from us. We are sophisticated enough individuals. Hey everyone, Trish Regan here. If you enjoyed that clip, please do me the favor of subscribing to the channel. Just hit that little subscribe button right over there. Did I do that right? Not quite, but you know where it is. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so that you get the alerts, and I'll see you back on the show.